kept seeing a car go into the water. All day they've been showing me reruns in my mind of Adventures with Purpose. VP's gonna find her in the Prosser Lake.
We have found Kylie Rodney's vehicle. Again, our search for Kylie at Prosser Creek Reservoir on August 21st at 10.
There are plenty of questions and very few answers after 4 students at the University of Idaho were found murdered in their off-campus house.
It's like if you look at Ted Bundy's eyes and you look at his eyes, they're the same. Maybe a little bit lighter. The one thing that I keep seeing is curls. So I don't know if he has curly hair or wavy hair, and that might be when it's grown out. I think he elongated, like his face might be a little bit longer. There's a reference to a pointier type nose. He honestly looks a lot like Ted Bundy, but like a jacked up Ted Bundy. Like not as handsome. I keep getting like a security guard or a badge. Like a Brian or something like that. It's because they are going to catch him. Because I'm seeing him in an orange jumpsuit. He wasn't as smart as he thought he was. Okay. He's probably going to go to jail for this eventually. I keep getting December. The name Richard again. I also get the name Rick. Damn name Allen is coming in again.
Jailed 50-year-old Richard Allen in connection with the double murder. Teen best friends Libby German and Abby Williams went hiking on a trail and never came home.
Done on November 20th, 2019 at 7:14 p.m. Quentin, but I'm seeing trash and I don't.
9:42 Wednesday morning. Quentin Simon's mom told 911 her little boy was gone.
I do keep hearing a trash truck though. Then I keep hearing the trash truck. It's almost, that's one thing I can't get rid of is the twisting of the trash bag. And so then I'm like, well, is he in the trash? Okay. Unfortunately, I hate to say that. I do hear landfill could be the...
Well, new tonight, a heartbreaking search underway in Georgia for a missing toddler. Police are sifting through trash at a landfill for the remains of 20-month-old Quentin Simon.
And I felt like he was going to be found. That was earlier in the day.
3-year-old boy found alive and in good health.
And I said, like, within 3 miles, but I'm not seeing him being hurt, and I'm not seeing someone coming up and getting him.
And I said, were you alone? Yes.
The main 2 things I keep getting is the wooded area and the shed.
Well, to take cover in that shed.
Late into the night to find.
I see him running to the woods. Oh, I keep getting the repeated image of him running to the woods. Okay. So maybe he decided he wanted to go play and then he kind of got lost in the woods. Be within 2 miles. I keep getting a reference to the edge of the woods. And so he's still alive because I'm not using him to get this information.
Right.
Around in the woods like I can't find my way out. I'm stuck. And I said he's in a bush.
Okay. I went across a field of grass. I came up on some woods. Sure enough, I went in the woods and about 100 feet from where I was at. I think he was in some stickers. There's a lot of stickers and all there.
Tonight in our Missing series, a case that we have heard a lot about from our viewers.
He wants to take me down the road to like a neighbor's house or something, like another farm. I also hear neighbor. He said he knows this guy. He knows him. And he's a neighbor. I don't know what the friends come in.
Suspect, 58-year-old James Brenner, who also happens to be Dylan's closest neighbor in the remote desert area of Lucin.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the Psychic Sleuth channel. So today I'm going to be doing an updated thing on Sebastian Rogers. I've been meaning to for a few days. I'm a little exhausted today. I don't know if it's the heat or whatever it is, but it's something like I can't get my mind off of. So that's why I'm here doing this today. So something's about to shift in the case in some way, shape, or form, because that's usually what it means when I feel a push to do something. Now I've felt a push to do this for about a week. So what I want to do is pull some updated cards, go over the astrology chart with you, go over the new lines because we edited it to miles now, and go over some few areas that I think should be searched. And the one thing that I want to stress here is this is about Sebastian. This should be about Sebastian. This should not be about the drama in the case. And I'm really annoyed that it's become about everybody else. And the attention's been kind of taken after him. Although his astrology chart does mention the drama and it being sort of a famous case. So that's what I'm here to do, is to be Spirit's voice and to try to help locate him the best way that I can. Now, just because I'm a psychic medium, I don't know everything. So as much as I try to pinpoint, I'm just trying to do the best that I can. But I am going to say that according to his chart, according to the reading, he is in an area of water not far from home. So that would be the area that we were focused on before, in that significant area. And I will go over again on the map where places that I'm kind of drawn to and where the sun line is hitting that we're kind of focused on. And the thing too is I'm not the only one saying this. So Sebastian is in water, in my opinion. And according to the astrology and according to the readings. And also according to the timing of when this happened. So that's where the focuses need to be on the searches. Because my visions are aligning with the astrology and what everybody else is getting in the astrology and even the AMAP now. So, anyways, this is all alleged for entertainment purposes only. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. I do whatever I feel pulled to do via Spirit. So if Spirit says pull cards, if Spirit says go over the astrology, if Spirit says then do some channeling, that's what I'm going to do. Remember that these are tools and they're an extension of me. I've already kind of seen what happened for the most part in the first reading. There's not much more to add to that, in my opinion. So the cards are just going to validate some things, hopefully give us a little bit more. I'll channel whatever I feel like I need to channel in, but again, I'm very tired tonight, and then I want to focus on the astrology and getting that out, because I feel like all of this is important. And also I want to tell you guys about the dream that I had. So the dream that I had, I'm just going to go over that really quick. It had two people in it that are connected to Sebastian, a male and a female. And you guys can guess who that is. And in the dream, they were really mean. They actually were walking Sebastian in, and this is a dream, so there's a lot of symbolism in this, and in cards and in visions and everything. Remember, sometimes things are symbolic or metaphoric. It's not always exactly the way that it is. And things can come up around the case, and even with location, there are reference points. So that's something to keep in mind. Okay. So in the dream, they were pushing a coffin in the water. And they started coming after me because I saw them and I heard things and I recorded things. And that's just the gist of it. At the end, the coffin was underneath a boat. So in the water. So again, the water is significant. And before Gannon was found, I had a dream of cops like walking around in water underneath a bridge. And that's kind of where Gannon was found. Only his stepmom allegedly missed the water and hit the rocks, and that's why I kept getting rocks in his reading. So, but I feel like I've come kind of a long way from Gannon, but that was just an idea of how my dreams work sometimes, and sometimes they're confusing, and again, dreams are symbolic. It may not be nothing, but I want to mention it because it is aligning with basically what I've gotten. And basically, what the astrology is saying. He has a stellium in Pisces. All of the significant planets are in Pisces. So I'll go over that in a minute. But first, I think I just want to go ahead and pull the cards and then do the astrology. And then if I feel like doing any channeling afterwards, because regardless, this is all draining to me, even just the astrology, because I'll pick up energy and stuff off the chart. So we'll see how that goes. But I do want to get this out because I feel like it's super important. And anybody that really wants to search for Sebastian and really wants to bring Sebastian home will listen. Because what else do we have to go on at this point? We don't have anything else to go on. So, and I don't care if areas have been searched or not, because a lot of times things are missed. I've seen it in multiple cases. So everything has timing as to when people are to be found and all of that. But I do want to put this out because I feel like it's super important. And him and Elijah's location seem to be very similar, or seem to have an interconnect there. Plus, because they went missing around similar times, I believe, as well. So, all right. So again, this is all alleged, entertainment purpose only. And for those of you who don't know how I work, information comes in, can be past, present, future, symbolic, again, metaphoric, not always exactly as you see it. And again, I think a lot of people need to understand that psychics are at our best 80 to 90% accurate. I strive to be more accurate than that, but I can only give what spirit gives me. I think a lot of people think that we're supposed to know it all and be able to point to a location and be like, that's it. It doesn't work that way. We can get within a few miles or whatever. But I am focused on one specific area, and the astrology points there. Many astrologists have the same area with different timestamps. So it also depends on the timestamps we used. And then there's some things, because in the dream, I was getting the water was outside of a mall. It can be symbolic. And I'll go into that a little bit more because we did find something on the map, and there is something that keeps coming through in the EVP on the map. So it's just an area that I want to talk about. Bridge is very significant as well. I've pulled that card multiple times. I saw it in my reading. So he's not far away according to his chart. The third house is close to home. He doesn't really have anything significant in the ninth house, which would put him far away. So that's something that we need to keep in mind too. And yeah, so again, I know a lot of people complain that the cards, they don't like them and whatever, I don't need them, but I've been told by spirit to use them. They do help. They are a tool. They are accurate, and they are an extension of me. And if I feel drawn to do them, that's what I'm going to do. What's important is the voice for the voiceless. What's important is the information, not how I get it. And I won't get everything as a medium because I'm just a human. So the tools bring in other things to point to other directions. And when you have everything pointing to one direction, well, there you go. Okay. Okay. So we have, and again, I may perceive these cards wrong. I may perceive them right. I mean, these are kind of speak for themselves, but we can always misperceive cards as well. But, death card, but he's being said to have run away, which in my opinion, I don't feel like he took off at 3 o'clock in the morning without his shoes and ran away, and no one saw him, and he's still missing. And I feel like he was assaulted more than once. I feel like, again, things were not as they seemed at the house. They seemed like they were okay, but they really weren't. And we now know that he was assaulted, allegedly, by a parental figure. So this also, I feel like, has something to do with not only his lifestyle, but something that happened that night. But I don't feel like it was completely on purpose, because I've always gotten kind of, it was like, I do get a reference, and this is also in the chart of drugs, and that can be like prescription drugs or anything like that, having an issue, like being part of the problem, but then also something kind of out of the ordinary violent may be happening. But he was already a health risk, and so in my opinion, I don't feel like it was really on purpose. And here we go with the drugs and poison. That's also in his chart, and I'll go over that in a minute. That led to this. That led to this. Again. And he was unconscious prior, and he was trapped in the situation. Okay, allegedly. My cat came over here and messed up all my cards. All right, so we have someone that's kind of a terrorist towards him, and there's so in my opinion, I feel like the female is actually involved, but the male is involved too, by helping cover it up and helping kind of foster, like, he knows what happened, but there's terrorism that was going on in the house. There's someone that's again a snake in the grass. They're not as they seem. And you have a con man. You can take that as a con man, con woman. This is somebody that's not as they seem, that cons people into thinking that there's someone they're not, which is really what's going on in the case. Oh, I'm innocent. Oh, I didn't have anything to do with anything, but they're trying to con everybody with this oh, he ran away. This was a very organized crime in the way that it all ended up playing out. That's how I take it. Like, again, they're not always, it's not always literal. Okay. So I take this card as like bloodline to a grandparent. Okay. And then we have the couple card, kind of speaks for itself. They're hiding out. They were hiding out for a little bit of time. They haven't really been in the spotlight, especially her. We have this card as well. I don't know if I just did that with the ball or if that's, I don't know if I might have done that by moving my chair. I'm not sure. We have the thief. This is someone that, you know, in the end, they have stole something from Sebastian. This kind of speaks for itself. Allegedly, she's still in the military. Allegedly, they have ties to law enforcement. There is a partner in crime. I feel like after the fact, the way this played out, this is how it went. I mean, male. And again, I don't feel like he was involved in the actual act, although I feel like a lot of it had to do with him in the way that, you know, they didn't get along. He was a burden. Sebastian was a burden. You know, it's like, get rid of him kind of thing. That Sebastian was kind of in the way and a burden. Then we have family. I'm taking this false person as like they're trying to say that everybody's blaming them and they're not to be blamed. We have the female. Next to the female, we have the mother card. So that we have police. Sometimes I get this if there's a connection to the police or the police kind of maybe know. And then we have multiple people involved. Or in the cover-up after the fact, in my opinion. I feel like one person was involved in the act and the rest was after that. So I have the people cards out here, which I've already pulled cards for her and, you know, cards for him in the past regarding with the people cards. You can see the other videos for that. We have the fool. So there was, which means ignorance, rashness, and impulsiveness, which is basically what happened. There's criminal. So there's also discipline. So they may end up in jail, but also this has to do with disciplining. And I don't know if there's a past there at all with the male. And we have the coach card, which these have multiple meanings. This is developing a plan. So you can take this as, I'm taking it as we developed a plan. As far as after this happened, there was a plan that was made. There is careerist. I don't know how to say that, but it means like cunning. Someone that's cunning, dreamer of grand schemes. So they thought up this grand scheme afterwards. Drunkard. Somebody that has alcoholism addiction, avoidance, and abuse. Okay. We have a player, which apparently the guy's been married a lot of times, but it also means like, yeah, an expert of romance. So he's, you know, this person has conned their way in. We have a clown. So that's somebody that is a performer, which is what's going on in all of this situation. All you have to do is see what's going on in the case and see how well they perform. We have the father card, but that also means family in itself or a parental authority. Okay. Or a guardian of someone. We have an engineer. So that's someone that builds, as an architect, also a problem solver and complex system and technology. I believe that she works with technology and camera systems. So also she's, you know, there's a problem solver, problem solving involved in this, and driver. I believe a car was used. Or a vehicle, I should say. Betrayal. Deceit, disloyalty, conspiracy, and broken bonds. Okay. An athlete, somebody that's in shape. Or it could mean like speed, strength, which she's in the military at some point, allegedly. Okay, so that's those cards. And these cards are straightforward and they align with the first reading and they align with the astrology chart and everything else, and they're straightforward. So it's just reiterating that he's been there the whole time. And I mean, I know there was certain water searches that I don't think they were done very thoroughly. And no one's really searched the water per se really well. We have river. Okay. We have underwater. Don't know if that was me or not. Move my chair. Water supply. Crossroads. And I keep hearing a train. So, portal. Road. Dumped. Public area. There might be a school nearby. In nature. Inside in water. Those two come together. And water. Water again. Lots of water. Bridge again. Lake. Beach. That can just be a sandy area. Beachy area. There's like hidden wisdom. This can be hidden wisdom. It's like a mystic haven. So somewhere that's like kind of mystical around it. Could possibly be sports arena around. He was moved in a vehicle again. Could possibly be some sort of spa, beauty salon nearby. Parking lot nearby. Somewhere that can be anywhere like you park and go. A parking spot. Not, somewhere that could be close. Remember, this is all reference points. So it can be anywhere around it. The zoo, but it's also like wildlife rehabilitation, wildlife conservation, conservatory, things like that, or a lot of wildlife park as well. So this is like damp and rainy realms. Again, more water. There could be a hospital nearby, or that could have something to do with or any kind of treatment center or anything like that. But also we have this card, the jail card. So somebody could be going to jail. I don't take it as this has anything to do with where he is, but it could have something to do with the situation. And then also there's a place of remembrance. So this could be a place that's like, means something to somebody. Okay. Okay, that blue light just came out of nowhere as I'm shuffling cards. Do you see it up there? It just popped on, like really bright. So I wanted to push play just to show you guys that, because it just literally just like started beaming really brightly, which I didn't get it. It's still on, but it really popped on like that. You have to touch it to turn it on. So I just wanted to show you. Okay, so I'm just going to try to tell you what comes to me or what I feel these means. Again, I can misperceive it, but again, all alleged. So you have freedom. I feel like, unfortunately, it's coming in with the struggle. So he has freedom from the struggle of what he was going through. Because Sebastian, he had a lot of struggles with who he was and how people treated him. He wasn't an easy child. He was a tough child, and I feel like they didn't understand him. And that's something that's coming in. That's not my opinion. That's something that I feel strongly, like he was very misunderstood. And he was very confused. He was a very confused kid. There's regret around this. Excuse me. There's fear that they're going to get caught, in my opinion. Also, I feel like Sebastian had a lot of fear of doing wrong and the way that he was treated. So there's mind control. I do feel like, again, that she was being controlled by the male counterpart, in my opinion, to make her realize that maybe her life would be better off, and allegedly. And also, I feel like they tried to kind of force Sebastian to be a certain way. We all know this, but there's a timeline issue, which is I feel like is way off. There was a collapse in the home. Greed is evident also in the chart. Okay. Poor boy had a lot of trauma. And what's interesting is, I think I mentioned in a video before it came out, I was laying in bed and I had a vision of the garage, and I was getting like one of those roll totes. I don't know why, but the garage was coming in very significantly, and I didn't understand why. And then we found out that he might have been sleeping in there, which is a possibility. So whether he's sleeping in the room or in his garage, wherever he was sleeping is what I would have seen where it would happen, where allegedly would have ever happened would have happened. But there could possibly be a confession one day, or if they've confessed to somebody else. As someone that could have like success, it's, you know, they've been successful so far in getting away with things for the most part. Allegedly there's communication between these two, and again, there's that 3-hour phone call, but it can be other communication. But there's definitely treason and lying going on. Okay, I mean, this was something that couldn't be stopped. There's delays, obviously, which is weird because he doesn't really have any planets in retrograde, but there's been delays. There are flight risks. They can leave at any time. They have left, and I feel that there definitely is plans there. There's been false flags everywhere. So the false flag is in the photograph, as in a lot of different things. There's been false flags like all over the place, in my opinion. I feel like there's some debt. And again, I always get like this gambling thing with him. For a while, he kept pulling the casino cards. So I don't know if somebody's got gambling issues or like money issues. But there's been a time change. So they've changed the time with the way things happen. I hope that there is a real investigation going on behind the scenes that we aren't aware of. Sorry, I lost his picture. I have it up while I'm doing this. So, and there was a meeting that they had at some point, but it's interesting because it comes in after the investigation. So they might be investigating him, or they might be having a meeting to investigate too. That could mean that, but also like any sort of, I'm kind of taking it as like, because it came in investigating, so investigators might be having a meeting over something. But there's gaslighting going on, and I feel all the way around. I feel like he gaslights her, she gaslights Sebastian, and you know, they're dating or together, whatever the hell they are. Excuse me. There's some kind of life insurance. There's explosive situations that happened in and around this, and I feel like we all kind of know like there was stuff going on in the situation regarding this. Okay, it can also be the two adults, but we do know that there were situations regarding that. And an incoming message, there might be a message somewhere, text message or whatever, any sort of message, but there's sad egotisms at play here. I don't know if they're part of a secret society or if it's just like this is like their little secret society, but I don't know. Evil corporation comes in too, so I don't know. They're a part of something. Power. This was all about kind of there is a power struggle going on. There is digital evidence. They just look into it in a way. This was premeditated anger. Okay, so premeditated anger. She was mad. So I get that violence of and apparently, allegedly, she used to do that to Seth in the middle of the night. So, I mean, it's not out of her realm of her losing it, especially if she had been drinking. But also, I feel like he was drugged into a certain amount, because that is in his chart as well. Propaganda. There's a lot of stupid propaganda and stuff going on, and a lot of drama and crap. So, there was a war. There is a war. Money. Again. There might be some top secret stuff going on, but also, you know, their situation as far as they were keeping things top secret. There's a lot of distractions in this case. We all know lots of distractions of that supposedly being Sebastian, that picture, and a lot of other things. Him saying that he ran off, looking in areas. You know, been a lot of lies and distractions. But someone's trying to control the situation, puppeteering, controlling. And I feel like anybody that tries to get involved in this case, whether it be dog handlers, which in my opinion, Julie's just trying to do the right thing, you know, or whoever gets involved, it's like everything gets railroaded, and you have to wonder who's behind the railroading. There was a warning here that she does work for a government agency, but that could also mean the government agency is going to be involved. He was abused and neglected. I mean, we've learned that about the situation and about him. Like, I think he was actually living in hell, and he was manipulated. And there's manipulation going on. Like, they are manipulating everybody, whether it be Chris or her. He's trying to be like the spokesperson and the one in control, right? But he's also being manipulative, trying to manipulate the situation. But there was going to be legal proceedings. They were going to court or whatever it was for custody, but also there may be legal proceedings regarding this case, because then the truth comes out. But there's been a lot of rumors and a lot of BS, and there is some protection going on. Okay, there's a secret trip that maybe we don't know about, or that's being planned. There's been a lot of false accusations towards Seth. I'm telling you, there's some kind of digital evidence or something that they're missing. This is evil in the long run, and there's unseen danger. There was danger around Sebastian that nobody saw coming because everything was well hidden. Because there's a lot of stuff in his chart that's under the horizon, and there's a cover up. Okay, they covered up after the fact, allegedly. Okay, so we have a blackmail card. Somebody's being blackmailed. The justice card. In the long run, I don't think I pulled that before, so I think that might be new. DNA evidence. I mean, there's going to be government involvement at some point. There is jail. There is phone evidence. There is camera evidence. Camera evidence that we're missing. Okay. I mean, this is just all repeating what I got in the beginning and what I've said I mean, I don't know how much more evidence we need, allegedly, in my opinion, regarding readings and stuff. Like, this will probably be my last one, because what else can I get on it? We have creeping legal issues. So they might have some legal issues, but they probably have in the past. But this is also about like court, judges, lawyers. We have girl fight, but it's also argument, physical fight, at war, competing, drama starter. So there's lots of drama going on, and there is a drama starter that's involved in this, allegedly, because he seems to go on and yell at everybody. And I'm wondering about a love triangle that we're not aware of. I don't know. Everybody's wasting time. They're wasting time with the drama. They're not making it about Sebastian, in my opinion, and that's what's irritating me. It's not even about Sebastian anymore. It's about all the drama and all the crap that's going on, and it really upsets me, because this is about finding Sebastian. Like, where's the searches? It doesn't matter if somebody doesn't want you to search somewhere. Like, where's all the search parties? I don't understand. Anyways, he's in the water. If no one's gonna look in the water, then I don't know what to say. I mean, I've never felt so strongly about anything before, just because everything points to that. My chest is hurting all of a sudden. There's memories, flashbacks, trauma, and side effects. So Sebastian had side effects from the trauma. The car issues coming in. I don't know if they're going to take the car for evidence or what that's about. It's interesting because I take this as like she's kind of ignoring things. But there was somebody that was a forcer. They forced things on them, on Sebastian. And this is her, allegedly. Love on the brain, dreaming, fantasizing, daydreaming. So she's in love and does whatever. Blinded by love, you know how that is. And this guy, he thinks he's a boss daddy. I feel like Sebastian really rejected this guy, and they also rejected him. He rejected Sebastian, and they didn't want him to be happy, in my opinion. There might have been an offer of some sort, but again, somebody was threatening, intimidating, and somebody's being an impersonator. They're pretending to be someone that they're not, and there's someone with a bad reputation. And I take the spiritual hater, because Sebastian was light. Of course he had problems. We all do. We all have issues. We all have things that we're going through, especially as a kid, especially when you're raised in that type of environment. The kid was confused, I feel, in my opinion. Ego. someone's ego was hurt. Someone does have a big ego. Wondering about fake social media accounts. So there's karmic friends, so you can't really trust them. Moving. I don't know if somebody said they were moving, but the moving card's there. Big flexing. So someone may pretend to have a lot of money, but they really don't. Travel. They did travel, and they might travel again. And they are wolf in sheep's clothing. So, I mean, sorry, I'm feeling a little drained already from just doing this. I was drained to do this, but it's one of those things I couldn't be left alone for some reason. Like I don't know, something's gonna. Usually when I feel like that means something's gonna change or shift in the case. I'm hoping. So we have. It's interesting because of the female in this, but it says killer may have an item belonging to the victim. Obviously, killer profile indicates narcissist or sociopath. Again, obviously, a friend knows something. Cell phone records may provide important clues, and a closer observation of the victim's living space may provide clues. Kind of funny how they don't want anybody to look in there. I wonder what they're afraid of anybody finding. If you think about it, if anybody has nothing to find and your kid is missing and you really think he ran off, why not allow them to look in your house? That is so sus to me. It makes no sense. If my kid was missing, I had nothing to do with it. You're damn right, come in my house and check it out. If you can find anything to help find him, that's the whole point. So that's so sus to me, and I don't understand why people aren't making more of a big deal about that. I'm not even sure what I can channel for this, because the way that it comes across is my first reading was very direct and straightforward, and so was the astrology. So there's not really much more that I can channel off this. I just wanted to do this for sort of a validation and to try to put something else out to kind of push the, push everything. But he's showing me water going up and down, so that's significant. And I can see people sitting on the dock, sitting on a dock, fishing. So I don't know. There's got to be fishing nearby, which makes sense because of the Pisces. I don't know why he's starting off showing me this, but he's showing me how water has waves when it's kind of rough. But I'm getting a headache right now, and I'm kind of exhausted already. So I'm not really sure how much more I can pull in, but I'm gonna try because this channeling by myself is different and it's new. So just bear with me doing it this way, because I normally do it with a sitter or I auto write or I get a little bit deeper, but I've already kind of auto wrote for him, and I mean, I think that this was thought about doing this. I don't know if they really thought about how or whatever, but there's a plan in place, in my opinion. But it comes across as I keep getting a reference to it being really dark, and every time I try to see him, it's really dark. But I feel like it's like 3 o'clock seems significant, or that time frame in the morning. And I do feel I feel like he was being medicated, which I know that's out, but that this has come in the chart and everything before. But he keeps showing me pill bottles, so I feel like they did over medicate him. And then I still feel like she kind of, something happened that night that was kind of angry and a little bit brutal, and I keep getting reference to the head, that always comes in. But also or there's this chaotic energy around her. I feel again, she's two different people. So what you guys see and how she really is it's two different things, allegedly, in my opinion, and just for psychic and things coming in. This is why I'm not naming any names. But because it's very direct and to the point, the fact that she was very chaotic in a lot of different ways, almost bipolar. I get this up and down feeling. And I feel like she was a people pleaser. Like she wants to people please, and in terms of she's kind of desperate in the relationship. I don't know if she's had a lot of failed relationships, or there's a reason why she wants this guy that she's with. It's kind of toxic, and it's almost like I hear the word ultimatum, but at the same time it was like Sebastian was a burden. She was tired of taking care of Sebastian. Why she didn't want to let him go with his dad and whatever, I don't know. There seems to be something about money involved, and it's almost like that feeling of too, like, if I can't have something no one else can, that kind of thing. Like, and she didn't want to be like that type of mom to like lose custody, because that kind of comes in too. But for some reason I keep also seeing like a pillow go over my face. That's new. I never got that before. Which makes sense because all of a sudden I can't breathe. But I feel like I see him in bed sleeping. So again, this makes sense because if he didn't have shoes on, and for some reason I feel like it's whatever he would sleep in. So it's like I get this weird feeling about that whole day. Like I know they did a lot of stuff that day, but it's almost like it was supposed to be planned like that. Do I feel like he made it home? Yeah, I do, because I feel like he was asleep when this happened. There's a lot of home stuff in his chart, but also that's never changed for me. Where it's being like really dark, and it's almost like I hear the crack of the door, wherever that may be, wherever he was sleeping at. And like I said, I had that random vision of like the garage, and which I didn't know anything about the garage in that way, but it was just something that kind of like randomly came to me. I'm sure it's on one of the lives, or I mentioned it somewhere, because it was one of those random things that I wanted to get out because I didn't know how or why it was going to fit. But I keep getting this like she's, it's one of those kind of like, I get like the word neurotic, but also kind of like a people pleaser. And she keeps thinking, oh, if I just ignore this, it's going to go away. This is very similar, in my opinion, to Summer Wells, and the way that, a lot of people that do things like this, they always get the idea of, oh, we'll just say he ran off. He is 15, and I don't know how anybody's falling for that, because I keep going back to, he keeps talking about cameras. I've gotten that before. It's something like, oh, I was never caught on camera leaving. And but there's something about cameras, or being able to control cameras too, or there might be some missing camera footage or something of that sort. But also so I'm trying to go back to like how this happened, because I feel like again, I get this up and down in the home. So this is like, things are not always as they seem. And this is also in the astrology chart. Like what you saw on the outside was not how it was. Like everything was sort of hidden. Like the abuse was hidden, the neglect was hidden, the way that he was treated was hidden. And I feel like he acted out. And I feel like, again, he was kind of a confused kid, and he didn't really understand. And if she needed help with him, then she should have asked for help. But again, I get like this burden on the relationship, burden on her life. And I don't know if she was still drinking or not, because I'm getting like, I'm smelling, I've never gotten this with drinking before, but when someone like has a shot of something, you can like smell the alcohol. I'm kind of getting that. So I don't know if she was still drinking or not, allegedly. But I keep getting like pill bottles. So, and I hear like over medication, and this was to make him sleep through the night, because I don't know if he had issues sleeping through the night or not. But there's also going back to the reason why he was wetting the bed and stuff was stuff that was going on in the home, and the fact that he wasn't waking up because being over medicated. But I get like an extra pill that night or something like that. Like there was something extra that was given to him. I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting the word Valium. I don't know who was on Valium. But it's something, there's an extra pill. Also, I kind of like, I don't know if the food was being drugged, because it's almost like I'm also seeing so a pill being crushed up and put in food, or something that was being consumed. So that's kind of interesting. And I always take the poison. The poison card came out earlier, but you can take that as medication as well, not just poison. And my neck is kind of hurting. So it's almost like I feel too drugged to maybe move, but then I've never gotten that suffocating feeling with like a pillow going over my face, so I would just be curious. But there's also a reference to my head, so somehow like he fought and got hit in the head, you know. But it's all involved. It seems to be all involved in what happened, because it's like I see her allegedly sneak in, and it's like, you know, when a room is, or an area is dark, and then like you have like you hear the door open and then you see the light from the other room, like that's what I'm seeing, like the crack. And wherever that may be, whether he was sleeping in the garage or wherever, I'm just getting wherever he was sleeping. But there was this plan devised. And I'm telling you, I hear a splash. But I feel like they probably took him out in something. So I'm not really sure what it is. I always kind of get the reference to Rolling Tote, but I don't know if it's exactly that. But whatever it is, it's kind of helped with like the scent for the dogs. And it feels like it was like right away, because I get like there was a plan in place before this. But I don't know if the guy like knew, or if it was like, I'm gonna call and try to get your help on this, or because that call feels like kind of like an alibi, honestly. But also it's like, I don't even know if they were talking. I don't even know if there's a way to tell that, because I keep seeing like the call there, but the phones are like laying down, or her phone is laying down. So it's almost like they had the phones on for an alibi, but no one's talking on the phone. It's like sitting there laying down. And that's why like she wouldn't really need GPS. This is somewhere that they know. And again, I get a splash. Like I feel like I'm falling. I get the reference again, and I get the reference to a bridge. And I don't know if like a I don't know. I mean, this would all match what I've gotten originally. And I know a lot of this is out there, but we have to go back to the original reading. I mean, there's nothing that I've really changed or added. Like a lot of that stuff came in already with the original reading and the astrology. And no one wants to listen, and realize, the water really needs to be searched well. I don't think they've had any search teams, because unfortunately, I don't know if the cops are just trying to get enough evidence. They don't have enough evidence. They have their suspicions, but there's nothing there. But then there's also protection going on, because like you would think they would have taken boats on that water or checked that water. You know what I mean? It makes no sense to me. And then there's also a reference to like and in my vision, before I knew about any of the astrology chart or anything, it's like a smaller area goes into a bigger area of water. I'm kind of getting that. I get a reference to a dam too. But yeah, I'm going to show you two areas on the map I'm kind of like going to. But I mean, this is very straightforward. There's nothing... There's nothing like... It's so obvious to me, because it's always been the same. Like, from the moment I knew he was missing. Allegedly. But there's like this divine plan, but it's literally like they did the plan, they took him, they disposed of him, and allegedly, and nobody, like, then they're putting all this stuff out to like lead everybody astray, and anybody that tries to help, they get railroaded. Like, I don't know what kind of connections they have, or what's going on with that, but it seems like that's what's happening. And I don't know if it's like the cops don't have enough evidence or what, but they said they've searched, but when have they really searched the water? I mean, it's hard, because if someone is weighted down in water and it's been a long time, I don't know exactly. I feel like he's like, because I go back to Gannon. Gannon was like in a suitcase. I'm not saying he's in a suitcase, but he might be in something weighted, or he might just feel that way because of the dream that I had. Then the dream was under a boat. So it's kind of interesting. It's almost like Riley and Elijah in this case kind of like all interconnect. They all happen around the same time. They all involve water. Especially in their chart, they all involve water. But I mean, I feel very strongly that even like the waves and stuff that I was feeling with Elijah, it could be Sebastian as well. But she is allegedly not like who she's claiming to be. She's not this, oh, I'm missing my son. She's just a very good actress. She knows exactly what happened. They both know exactly what happened. There's no, oh, he ran off, he's with his grandma somewhere. Like, there's none of that crap. It's just, it was a very devised plan. If we look at like who she is, sometimes criminals are just really smart, allegedly. It's like I feel like I'm drugged and then I can't breathe. And then again, I got a reference to the head. And I see her like dragging him by the shoulders, or, you know, like underneath the armpits. And I keep hearing a splash. And there's a reference to railroad too. I don't know why, but I keep getting like railroad tracks as well. I don't know. It feels like there's missing footage or something somewhere, or something like, because I feel like there's missing, like, it's not being checked or it's too late, or, and there's reference of like a traffic cam too, but I feel like they maybe took back roads or something like that. But again, I don't know if the cops have more. It kind of comes across that they may have more than we realize, and they might be like sneakily watching. There's not enough evidence. It's almost like I keep seeing like all of a sudden there's a raid, or all of a sudden there's something like that happens out of nowhere. Or all of a sudden there's like a search warrant served. Like it comes across like that. Like it's going to come out of nowhere, and that might be why I'm being pulled back into this. And feeling like I need to get this out for some reason. Because I'm kind of seeing that a little bit. So I'm just wondering. Because I was wondering if they were going to get away with this or whatever. I don't think the cops are completely dumb to it. I just don't think it's kind of like Summer. Like they don't have the evidence. Like, and a lot of kids, in a lot of cases, no different than like a husband saying, oh yeah, my wife ran off and went missing. Yeah, no, she didn't. Same thing. That's always the excuse. I mean, I feel like eventually there will be a change in law, which is also in his astrology chart, because so I don't know if like the medication wasn't enough, but she gave an awful lot, but it's like finishing off, because I definitely feel this person come into the room, because I keep seeing that like that crack of light. You know, and you know, I'm not one that likes to say, oh yeah, they're for sure gone or whatever, but it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm sorry, I would love to be wrong on this. I would love for him to just walked off, ran off, whatever. It's not ever the feeling I've gotten. So, all right, I think I'm not getting much else. I mean, it's straightforward. So I'm gonna go over the astrology right now. Plus, I'm feeling kind of tired. I was tired before I started this, but for some reason, this is really... Okay, so I'm not going to go fully over his chart because I kind of already did that when I went over the lines, but I'm starting to learn the chart, so I'm starting to do it this way. But I'm just going to go over a few things that are really important in this chart that I'm not going to go over the degrees because that will give us extra information, but I'm just going to be kind of straightforward with this because I kind of already went over it before. But this is stuff that I learned the other night when I was checking things out. So if we look at the third house, okay, we have Neptune, Saturn, the Sun, and Mercury all in the third house. So the third house is like home or close to home. So Neptune can be, in this instance, it's water, but it's also drugs, things like that. Okay. And then we have Saturn literally is the body. The Sun is our victim, but also our perp, like the vitality. And then we also have Mercury, which rules like adolescence and things like that. So this is all in Pisces. This is a huge stellium in Pisces. So stellium is a bunch of planets in one area. In the third house. So this is an area of water not far from home. There's not really anything in the ninth house. The only thing in the ninth house is basically in this. This is a chart for 3 o'clock. So that's our opinion on the one we like, but we noticed that all the astrologists are getting the same area just with different times, or with different lines and different times. So he's not really here you would check because this is a Capricorn and Saturn is Capricorn, so you would check here. And because usually we have the victim on the ascendant, we have the perpetrator on the descendant. Now there's no perpetrator on the descendant either, but what you would do is look for the ruler of Cancer, which is the moon. And then so we have the moon and Black Moon Lilith. And the moon is mom, and then Black Moon Lilith, the evil mother, and the sign of Virgo. So again, she's pretending to be this analytical, very like put together kind of, I am innocent and all that kind of stuff. But in reality, she's not. So allegedly. So I'm not going to fully go over everything, but the part of fortune, it looks like Gemini, so that could be like some kind of communication or something. And see right here we have like Chiron, which is the wounding happening in the house, fourth, and Aries. So Aries is like a very violent kind of thing. So what I wanted you to pay attention to, because I'm not going to go fully into this because I didn't really go over it with her and I don't want to give any wrong information. Okay. And the second house is like money and things like that. And we have Venus and Mars in there and Pluto. So something with money in Aquarius. So again, I don't want to say anything and be wrong because I'm a baby at this and I'm just learning, and I'm no way an astrologist, but astrologist is helping me learn. So basically this stellium in Pisces is what I'm talking about. Literally his vitality and his Saturn are in Pisces. So therefore Pisces is water. Okay. Just saying it's water. Okay, so this is what I want to show you. We redid the astrology chart for miles. Okay, so it's a little different. Now, whenever you're working with this astrology, you want to go where it ends at the first degree. So we only went out because of the fourth house and the third house, meaning close to home, not far away. So we want to go where it ends at. Now, this might not be exactly where he is, but it could be where he went in at or close by, because in Riley's case, we had Jupiter and Uranus. They were together because that was what was going on in the planets at that time, and they both were the only ones that went into the water, but it wasn't where he was found, it was where he went in at. So that's something we have to keep in mind. Okay, I followed all these other lines. They don't really go anywhere else. The only thing that I'm like interested in that kind of doesn't have where it ends at, because these are all the first degrees. Okay, so, and this is taking us back to Hickory. I mean, this is his sun line. Okay, this is his sun line right here. Now we have to remember that Pisces has to do with boats, has to do with fish, anywhere that you fish, anywhere that there's boating, anything like that. I'll actually read to you what Pisces is so that you can get an idea. So again, Pisces is a water sign. It's signified by fish. So you can assume it refers to fish ponds, rivers, springs, water mills, water pumps, wells, marshy or watery ground, moats, springs, ocean, and all places near to water inside or outside the house. Any place where waterfowl, fishes, or water plants can be found includes beaches, water mills, mossy places, especially near ancient ruins, fisheries, fish canneries, public aquarium, like anything like that close by. Now, again, this isn't going to have everything, but I'm just telling you what Pisces rules. And also, then when you have its affiliation with its ruler Neptune, which is literally in its house, the gravitation towards sacrifice. Pisces also signifies hermitage, monasteries, places of seclusion, or retreat, which kind of came in the cards. Also, religious orders, religious rites, that include sacrifices figuratively and in reality. So this was actually kind of in a way a sacrifice so that she could have a different life, in my opinion. So again, in general locations, Pisces rules where waterfowl gather, such as seagulls and terns. Also, any kind of shops that are around could be like aquariums or anything that are like fish. Also, marinas, boatyards, wet storage, and small islands that can be reached by boats. So this is something to again keep in mind, that basically it's this area. So I just want to go over a couple things. My stomach kind of hurts. Really quick. So again, you want to go where it ends. Like, so this area, this is his sun line. Okay. This is his sun line, which is over by where we've always said. Okay. This is something that need to be checked out thoroughly. I understand that it's a big area. I can't like pinpoint and point and be like just right there, but there's schools here which would align. So we were interested in that one. We were kind of interested. I think this is his Mercury line, or no, this is Saturn line. Kind of interested in a Saturn line. The only thing, it doesn't completely end in the water. Okay. And then the reason why I'm interested in this one, and I'll tell you why, is because now she said, and probably not the Neptune, because Neptune is like the illusions and stuff. And with the way that this goes, it doesn't really end again in the spot. But look, there's a bridge right here. Okay. So that's one reason I was kind of wondering about that. There's schools there, which came in the cards. There's baseball, which came in the cards. So I find that kind of interesting. And then in the dream, I kept seeing the river outside of a mall. Well, when I typed that in, when I first found out about my dream, it took me here to this Mall or Point Park because the word mall, I thought it was kind of weird, but that's where it took me. And I noticed that there's a bunch of like, I don't know if these are barges or whatever the hell they are, but there's a lot of boats in this area. So that's another thing. And then Castle kept coming in the EVP. So I don't really know if this is the right area because our Neptune goes through it, but it doesn't end there. Our Neptune ends not really in water. I mean, it does, but it's kind of far away, which we don't feel like he's far. He has to be in the Cumberland River, which would align with the very first reading that I got, or in an area where it flows into a larger area, which I also came in the reading. So that's kind of, this is the area we should focus on, really, is we should focus on I know one side of this, like, you can't get to, okay, but the Hickory area, you can. And I got the water, the other water reference card. So this is where his sun goes, is vitality. I pulled the concert card, but I didn't take it, but that's interesting. top songwriters. My stomach is hurting all of a sudden. I don't know, and I don't feel good. And I don't know if it's because I'm on the map, because usually I don't feel anything, but it might just be me and the day I'm having. This is where the sun line goes, okay, and it ends in the water. So that's where we were kind of focused on when we finished like redoing the map. And I didn't understand before that it has to end in the water at the degrees. So, and again, we were kind of interested in the Saturn line because it almost ends there. It's in the same area, and then the Neptune, like they all go through the water. This one, I'm only interested because of that castle, the bridge, and like a lot of boats and stuff here. So, those are my areas of interest. And bridge seems to be important. I always pull that card. And if somebody, I already put all this out before, but and that not memories. I heard that he liked Drake's Creek, so I just wonder. I'm not saying he's in the creek, it's not deep enough, but that's where like all these baseball things are. I'm just wondering. And that's another thing is like, here's a bridge. I don't know, here's another bridge. Like, I don't know if my kid screaming is Elijah or him or both now, but I did get sports thing with him now. And look, there's islands. So, I mean, it's going to have to be in a deeper area. You have to use your also common sense. And I would go back to the original reading that I did because I just don't know what I got there. But, it would be a place where there's boats, ducks, fishing, anything that's Piscean. Has a Piscean name too. I mean, Hickory isn't really a Piscean name, but I mean, this is really the area we have to focus on. If you guys want to find him, allegedly he's in the water. I'm just saying, the water is where we need to focus. I get so annoyed at everybody like making it about them and not about Sebastian, and making it about the drama and not about Sebastian. That's not what it's supposed to be about. I'm trying to see, like, I don't know what the names are around here. And I realize it's a big area. I get that. See, this is closed, but this is not, I don't think. But boats, marina. In my dream, he was under a boat. Who knows? Maybe boaters will find him since no one else wants to look in the water. And when they did, it was like, not to be rude or anything. It wasn't like they weren't really looking and they were checking the sides. I mean, I realize this isn't near a bridge, so this is why this line throws me, because I feel like it is a splash. I don't know. I mean, there's the dam. I was seeing the dam, but I just don't know. Have to think too, like, where could they put him in at? And the splash can also be symbolic. I heard that. It can also be symbolic. But see, I know there's a bridge somewhere. I just don't. I don't know. Those are the two places I'm kind of interested in. I don't know if he would have moved. being tied down, being weighted. You might be kind of stuck in the mud too. But see, our Neptune line doesn't end there. She was thinking that's more delusions, but I have to think like some kind of pulled because of the bridge. Like, I don't know. You guys know the area more than I do, but just because certain, like the castle kept coming in, the EVP, I kind of was like, well, that's kind of weird. There's a castle there. Sorry, it was really hot here today and it just really drained me. The Jupiter line's interesting too. Let me see. But I don't think it ends. See, it doesn't completely end in the water. Because I was looking at this area, but the thing that's interesting about this Hickory Beach area is, again, that all the astrologists, even though they're using different timestamps, they still get this area with one of the lines. So that's why it's interesting to me. And for some reason I'm not feeling good, but I don't know if that's my own stuff or if I'm not feeling good because I'm on the map. And you guys know that all these other lines, it doesn't necessarily mean to where his body would be. It could be areas that are significant to him, that are significant to them. Like that's how astrology works. It's not always. And it is hard to tell like exactly where where his remains would be. But you have to go where it ends. And we use 3 o'clock. Regardless, the water needs to be checked. I mean, around boating areas, fishing areas, things like that. Like that's significant. And just this one kind of seems too far. Like, remember, 4th house, close to home, not far away. These are the first and a lot of these things came in the EVP, a lot of the names around here, but again, it goes through there. It would have to end there. Like Anderson, driving me crazy. But I mean, going by the reading, the Cumberland River was what was coming in. And I pulled the lake card. So the light. And this castle could be coming in because it's close, like a reference point. You know what I mean? But it keeps coming in. It doesn't mean like he's at the castle or right next to it or anything like that. It's like a reference point, right? I just wish I was getting more specific, like wording and stuff like that. I mostly get descriptions. Sorry, that's just the way it works with me. Sometimes I'm lucky and I get words that are reference points, but sometimes I don't. But islands are also a Piscean thing. I'm looking for the railroad track. I don't know if that just means like they crossed it or because I mean there's a bridge here, but none of my lines go there. So bridges seem significant. I don't know if maybe I'm just not seeing them on the map. Boating. fishing, seagulls, things like that. My head hurts all of a sudden really bad. I'm feeling really drained. There's railroad tracks right there. Wait, is that railroad tracks that runs along the road? It is. Huh. Yeah. It is. But do those go by anything? I mean, you guys probably know more than I do. Huh. Wonder if he's saying, gosh dang it, cat. I wonder if he's saying he could hear the railroad tracks. Or he could hear the train, because that's how I heard it, was like a train. And it's weird the road's like right there with railroad tracks. So they could be reference. I guess another reference point. Okay. The reference point, guys. Reference points are like, it's like puzzle pieces. These things are like puzzle pieces. It's not always direct. It's puzzle pieces. Oh, so there is train tracks here. Huh, I didn't know that. So that could just be a validation because I didn't know that. So I mean, regardless, I would focus by bridges too. Like, that's one thing I can't seem to get rid of is bridges. And that could be a reference point, but I mean, if you're gonna put somebody in water, it makes sense, right? That's what I tried to do with Gannon, but she didn't hit water. She missed it. So it's kind of like a similar situation, only they know this area, allegedly. It's all alleged. So I think you guys kind of get what I'm saying. I mean, I guess that's a park. I don't know. But I feel like I can hear the train. So I didn't get that before. Anyways, that's what I've got for you. Please make this about Sebastian. Please take me seriously about checking the water. I don't care if you don't believe in psychics or mediums or whatever, astrology, whatever it is. This is about finding Sebastian. And if we want to find him, we have to follow something because everybody's running around like, I don't even want to say the term, but they're running around. They don't have anywhere to search anyways. They're just running around doing nothing. Or they're running around searching in a bunch of weird areas. Like, he's not in a pond because he didn't do this to himself. So you got to think deeper water. You got to think boats. I don't know if my cat just did that or not. Because he jumped down, he might have. But you got to think of that kind of stuff, like boats, waterfowl, fish, maybe an area that's significant to them. But this is about Sebastian. We need to knock off the drama. Just forget about the people that are causing the drama. Quit putting so much attention on the people that are around the situation and start putting attention on Sebastian. I get so annoyed because everybody takes all the focus off Sebastian and needs to be put back on Sebastian, needs to be put back on the missing. It's not about those people. How are you going to, yes, look into them, find out, places that they know, things like that. But other than that, your focus is on finding Sebastian. And if I had a boat, if I was there, I would be searching that water as much as I possibly could. And just because it was searched, it wasn't thoroughly searched. It's a huge river. I see bodies missed all the time. So again, he's going to be found if he's meant to be found and where he's meant to be found. I feel like something's coming soon as to why I did this today and why I felt the push to do this, even though I was so exhausted. I had to really force myself to do it because it's just something that was coming up. Like that I needed to have it, I needed to do it right away. And I've been trying to do it for the past couple days. And I had other things I needed to do today, but for some reason the heat's taken it out of me. For some reason I'm just tired. I don't know if it's a paranormal hangover from last night, but need to make this about Sebastian. I don't care if you believe or not, but the water needs to be checked. There's everything pointing to the water, his astrology, the readings, the cards. Like, you can't have any more signs about the water. It's a whole stellium is in Pisces, including Saturn, which is literally your body. My dream, and dreams again are symbolic, but it was very vivid and strong in the fact that I keep going back to the coffin being in the water and being under a boat. So I don't know, maybe fishermen will find him or something like that. But definitely it feels like those are areas that need to be focused on. And I don't know. I just hope that, pretty soon they start searching, or I guess he'll just be found when and if and how he's meant to be found. But weighted water, also like Medi Marshy might be something like where waterfowl and stuff is. So this might interconnect with Elijah. There might be some things that are interconnecting here. But anyways, I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys get what I'm saying. I don't know any more that I could do on this because it's just very straightforward to me. It's like there's a lot that's hidden in his chart. Everything that I showed you is below, like that's all that's hidden. Like his body, everything's hidden. Like there's not a lot that's public, in terms of like where he is and all of that, right? And there's been a lot of red herrings in the case. There's been a lot of drama in the case. Everybody needs to calm down, breathe in, and bring their focus back to Sebastian and where he could be. And again, a close body by water. All the astrologists have lines that go through this area. So, I mean, I've done all I can do at this point. The rest is in the searcher's hands. So I normally feel bad saying, oh, you got to check this area, you got to do that, because I don't want to be wrong. And I don't want to send anybody in wild goose chases. Because everybody attacks you when you're wrong. If you've been right a million times, and then we have, I don't like the wild goose chases, but I can't be sure for sure unless it's checked. I mean, we just don't know unless we check. And what else are we doing? So if you really want to find him, in my opinion, he's not in woods or anything like that. He's in water. There's too much water and too much Piscean energy in his chart. There's too much water in the cards. There's too much visions that I've seen with him in the cards, plus the dreams. So there's so many things that point to one thing that I feel pretty confident about it. Could be totally wrong, but I can only go by what I'm given and what's in his astrology chart. Astrology is something you cannot change. Yes, this is for entertainment purposes only, but it's something that you cannot change. And forensic astrology is something that's very, very accurate if you just, look into it. If you want to listen to me, at least listen to the astrology. But me and the astrology are what I get from spirit, and the astrology usually line up together. So that's my opinion. Like I said, there's not much else I can do on this. As you can see, we got the same cards, the same information. Like it's very, I did that. I dropped my water bottle. It's very straightforward. And I don't understand. Like, I'm so confused as to why nothing's being done. And it's going so long without an investigation. It's like the evidence is going away. But what's weird to me is, like, if you really want your kid found, if you really have nothing to hide, let them come into your house with a dog. What's the big deal? So, anyways. All right. Well, I can only hope and wish for the best. And I pray that Sebastian's found and that people start focusing on him. All right, rant over. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, sharing. I'll see you next time.